गुरु रूप गुरु प्यारी साध संगत जी गज के फतेह बुलानी वाहिगुरु जी का खालसा वाहिगुरु जी की फतेह. So as we just heard off the State Secretary, we're going to speak now for about 20 minutes a little bit about what today was about, the Gurdwara Sahib, why we celebrate today with Gadkar, why we have these tournaments. We're also going to look at what the day today represents in history. So we're at the 1st of June. So what does the 1st of June mean? First thing is, does anyone, I'm just going to ask you guys a question, does anybody know the name given to those words that we said at the start? You know when I said Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh? Can one of the lads here put their hands up and tell me what that's called? It's a single word, does anybody know? Starts with an F.
Fateh.
Fateh. Okay, does anybody know what that means in English?
Victory.
Victory, thank you. So, the first thing a Sikh starts off with is victory. So when a Sikh meets another Sikh, the very first thing he says is victory. And what we say is, Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, the Khalsa belongs to Vaheguru, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. The victory belongs to Vaheguru. So the first thing, when one Sikh meets another Sikh, he talks about victory. The last thing a Sikh says, when he leaves another Sikh, is victory. The first thing we do in the morning is think about victory. The last thing we do at night is think about victory. उठदे सार जिससे उठदा पहला वाहिगुरू ਨੂੰ ਫਤਿਹ ਬੁਲਾਉਂਦਾ उठदे सार पहला फतेह ਸਾਡੇ ਮਨ ਵਿੱਚ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਆ ਕੀਰਤਨ ਸੁਣਨ ਨਿਤਨੇਮ ਕਰਕੇ ਸੌਣ ਲੱਗਾ ਤੇ ਸਿੱਖ ਫਤਿਹ ਬੁਲਾਉਂਦਾ ਫਤਿਹ ਦੇ ਮਨ ਵਿੱਚ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਆ ਇੱਕ ਸਿੱਖ ਦੂਜੀ ਸਿੱਖ ਨੂੰ ਮਿਲਦਾ ਪਹਿਲਾ ਫਤਿਹ ਦੀ ਗੱਲ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਆ ਜਾਣ ਤੇ ਫਤਿਹ ਦੀ ਗੱਲ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਆ ਸਿੱਖ ਦੇ ਮਨ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਵੀ ਦਿਨ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਵੀ ਸੁੱਧ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਵੀ ਕੰਮ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਫਤਿਹ ਮਨ ਵਿੱਚ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਆ ਜਿੱਤ ਹਾਰ ਦੀ ਗੱਲ ਵਿੱਚ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਗੱਲ ਸਿਰਫ ਫਤਿਹ ਦੀ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਆ A Sikh never thinks about am I going to win or am I going to lose. He only ever thinks about victory. You know, sometimes you guys might have thought downstairs, well, I've had a Gadkar tournament, maybe I didn't win, but did you finish off in saying Fateh? You would have said Fateh, wouldn't you? Because it's still victory. So we got to think, why is it victory? Sometimes you might not think, oh, maybe I lost that tournament, maybe I lost that fight, why is it victory? It's victory because you know what? Sometimes we're scared in our heads. Sometimes we're scared of actually standing up and fighting. So the fact that you actually stood up and fought, that's victory. I mean, some of you guys got hurt. I know someone's going to get first aid because their knees hurt, people got hit in the head. There are other kids who won't do that. There are people who are actually scared of getting involved. So the fact that you're involved is victory. The fact that you can still shake the person's hand or give them a hug is victory because that means your ego is in control. You're not big-headed. So that's a bit about today. But if we look at history, Fateh Diwas. Fateh Diwas is related to Banda Singh Bahadur. And Baba Banda Singh Bahadur wasn't always a Sikh. Banda Singh Bahadur used to live near what we call Hazur Sahib now. And Guru Gobind Singh Ji met him there. And he became a Sikh with Guru Gobind Singh Ji. Maharaj sent him to Punjab on a mission. Now, at this time, Maharaj had lost all of his four sons. All four Sahibzade Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj had been shaheed, had been martyred. The older two had been shaheed in battle, had been killed in battle. The younger two had been tortured to death and were ripped alive in a war. Now these younger two were aged 5 and 8 years old. How old are you guys here roughly? How old are you? 8. How old are you at the front? 8. Okay, so the youngest Sahibzade, the oldest of the younger two Sahibzade would have been the same age as these kids sitting here. The younger one was even smaller. And these were ripped alive, tortured to death by the Mughal Raj, the Mughal government. So when Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj saw Banda Singh Bahadur and they met, and Banda Singh Bahadur became a Sikh of Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj. As a Sikh, we all asked for seva, ke Maharaj sanu ko seva baksho. And the seva given to Banda Singh Bahadur was to go to Punjab and to destroy the Mughal tyranny. The Mughal da Raj panna, jehde छोटे-छोटे बच्चों ਨੂੰ ਸ਼ਹੀਦ ਕਰ ਦਿੱਤੇ। ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਟਾਕਰਾ ਜੋ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਕੇ। So Banda Singh Bahadur was told to go to Punjab and deal with the people that were killing young children, young babies. And Banda Singh Bahadur was set on his way with 25 Sikhs and a hukam, a letter from Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj to go to Punjab to show the Sikhs that this is what I want you to do, to go to Sirhind. Sirhind was the name of the town of the Chote Sahibzade were shaheed. Now along this way, Banda Singh Bahadur would go through towns, he'd go through cities, and he had many battles along the way. Have you ever heard of Baba Deep Singh Ji?
Yeah.
Baba Deep Singh Ji was one of the soldiers in Banda Singh Bahadur's army. So Banda Singh Bahadur was a general, and Baba Deep Singh Ji actually fought for Banda Singh Bahadur in these battles. And along the way, Banda Singh Bahadur would come to villages and towns. And Banda Singh Bahadur would show these people Guru Gobind Singh Ji's Hukamnama. Kya Guru da hukam hai? ਜਿੱਥੇ ਵੀ ਬਾਬਾ ਬੰਦਾ ਸਿੰਘ ਬਹਾਦਰ ਜੀ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਸੀ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਜੀ ਨੇ ਹੁਕਮਨਾਮਾ ਲਿਖਿਆ ਹੋਇਆ ਸੀ ਨਾਲ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਸੀ ਤੇ ਸੰਗਤਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਦਿਖਾਉਂਦੇ ਸੀ ਕਿ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਦਾ ਹੁਕਮ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਸਰਹੰਦ ਤੇ ਫਤਿਹ ਕਰਨੀ ਹੈ ਹਾਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਜੀਵਨ ਨੂੰ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਚਾਕੀ ਮਾਰੀਏ ਅਸੀਂ ਰੋਜ਼ ਗੁਰੂ ਘਰ ਆ ਕੇ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਦਾ ਹੁਕਮ ਸੁਣਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਜਿਵੇਂ ਦੇਖੀਏ ਕਿ ਅਸੀਂ ਕਿੰਨੀ ਪਾਲਣਾ ਕਰਦੇ ਹੁਕਮ ਤੇ ਹੁਕਮਨਾਮੇ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਵੀ ਤਾਂ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਕਿ ਆਪਣਾ ਕੰਮ ਕਰੋ ਲੋਕ ਨੂੰ ਕਾਬੂ ਰੱਖੋ ਨਾਮ ਜਪੋ ਸੇਵਾ ਕਰੋ ਸੰਗਤ ਵਿੱਚ ਬੈਠੋ ਇਹ ਹੁਕਮਨਾਮੇ ਲਿਖੇ ਸੀ ਕਿ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਘਰ-ਬਾਰ ਛੱਡ ਕੇ ਸਰਹੰਦ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਫਤਿਹ ਕਰੋ ਔਖਾ ਹੁਕਮਨਾਮਾ ਹੈ ਪਾਲਣਾ ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਮਾਪੇ ਧੀ ਪੁੱਤ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਨੂੰ ਪਿਆਰੇ ਆ ਛੱਡਣ ਨੂੰ ਕਿਸ ਨਾਲ ਜੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰਦਾ ਪਰ ਉਸ ਮੌਕੇ ਤੇ ਸਿੱਖਾਂ ਨੇ ਘਰ-ਬਾਰ ਨਹੀਂ ਦੇਖਿਆ ਅੱਗਾ ਪਿੱਛੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਦੇਖੇ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਦਾ ਹੁਕਮ ਮੰਨਦੇ ਹੋਏ ਬੰਦਾ ਸਿੰਘ ਬਹਾਦਰ ਦੀ ਫੌਜ ਵਿੱਚ ਭਰਤੀ ਹੋ ਕੇ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਸਰਹੰਦ ਤੇ ਫਤਿਹ ਕੀਤੀ But the Sikhs at the time, when they saw this order from Guru Gobind Singh Ji to go fight, they didn't think about their families, they didn't think about their friends or their children, they left everything behind and they joined Banda Singh Bahadur. And this letter is called a Hukamnama. And when we come to Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj, you know, after the end of a program, at the end of a Khand Path, to do Hukamnama, that's Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj giving us a hukam. We're going to ask ourselves, do we listen to what Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj told us that the Sikhs were doing 300 years ago? But anyway, so the Sikhs gathered and Banda Singh Bahadur gathered this army. Now the Mughal Raj was massive. The Mughal army was huge, very, very powerful, very, very deadly, very strong army with loads of trained soldiers, all types of weaponry, very feared. A lot of people were scared of him. But Banda Singh Bahadur and the Sikhs were so brave, they went and fought them anyway. They went to Sarhand and they destroyed Sarhand. Now this is what they showed us Sahibzade were shaheed. Before they actually got to Sarhand, they went to another place. You know Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji Maharaj? Do you know that they were shaheed as well? Yeah? Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji Maharaj also shaheed, was martyred in Delhi. When Banda Singh Bahadur was on the way to Sarhand, they stopped off at the town with the people who made Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji shaheed lived, and they killed them first. They brought them to justice. Then they went to Sarhand and they destroyed Sarhand. And Wazir Khan was the name of the man who killed the Sahibzade, shaheed, tortured to death the Sahibzade. Banda Singh Bahadur and the Sikhs captured Wazir Khan, cut off his head, put his head in a spear, and then drove it around the town. Now some people might think this is not very good. We're talking about violence, talking about fighting, we're talking about cutting people's heads off. But we're talking here about a Raj, a Mughal empire, an army, a people that was persecuting innocent people. They were torturing little children. They were kidnapping people's wives. Young children present, so I won't go into detail. But they were taking their wives, their sisters, daughters away from them and doing all sorts with them. This was the empire at the time. This wasn't, let's sign a petition and give them a petition. We have 100,000 signatures, they're going to listen to us. It didn't work that way. Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj didn't create people that just did signatures. Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj ne Sant Sapai di fauj बनाई, Sant Sapaiyan di. हरेक वेले Sant, मौके वेले सफाई. और जिस उधर पे petition इकट्ठे करते किसने मानना सी petition, वजीर खान को petition लेके जाते, कोई Sahibzade दी शहीद कराए, petition पार के रह सकना सी. उस मौके तलवार दी लोड़ सी. जिन लोगों को कोई पछाणदा नहीं सी, जिस लोगों की कोई औकात नहीं सी, कोई हक नहीं सी, कोई ताकत नहीं सी, वो लोगों ने बंदा सिंह बहादुर दे गुरु गोबिंद सिंह महाराज के निशान से थले इकट्ठे होकर सरहंद ते फतेह की. जिन्हें जरूरत नहीं सी कि वजीर खान के मोरे खड़ के अपनी आवाज़ उठाइए. सरहंद दी कंधा ढातियां, वजीर खान का सिर बढ़ के नेज दे टांके सरहंद च कमाया. उस लोगों के जिन्हें कोई एक हक भी नहीं सी. अब गुरु का हुक्म दी कृपा है, गुरु की बचना की ताकत है. This is the strength of the Guru's order and the Guru's word and the Guru's Bani. That gives people who have no strength the power to do this. And we call it Fateh Divas, the day of victory, because this is the day Banda Singh Bahadur had victory over Sarhand. That's why we call it Fateh Divas. This is why you had the Fateh Khaidan, to celebrate this victory over Sarhand. These were normal people like we are today. Normal farmers, shopkeepers, some of them were soldiers. Like you kids here learning Katka, you're soldiers, or you will be soldiers. Because you know how to use kirpana, you know how to use shields, you know how to use spears. People like me, I don't know how to use it. But even people like me were joining people in Banda Singh Bahadur's army to go fight in Sarhand. And they had created Fateh, they had victory. Now, if I said to you today, we're going to go conquer Bradford. Us guys are going to go conquer Bradford. Some people are going to laugh. Some people are smiling. How are you going to conquer Bradford? If I said we're going to go take over 10 Downing Street, I'm not saying we're going to, I'm just saying if we said we're going to go take over 10 Downing Street, people are going to say, he must be crazy, this guy. This is what it was like. When people thought Banda Singh Bahadur is going to take over Sirhind, he's going to fight against the Mughal Raj. It's crazy, no one can do that. But he showed them that it could be done. And Banda Singh Bahadur created the Khalsa Raj. He created little coins. Now you get pound coins. Do you know whose face is in the pound coins? Does anybody know? Whose face is in the pound coin?
Queen.
The Queen's face. Do you know whose name Banda Singh Bahadur put on the coins? Does anybody know? Can you have a guess? The Gurus. Guru Nanak Dev Ji, Guru Gobind Singh's name on the coins. He created the Khalsa Raj, created the Sikh Raj. His capital was Logar. He created coins in the name of the Gurus. And he governed Punjab for 2 years. So we had our Raj. You know we talk about Raj Khalsa. This isn't a dream. This isn't something that might happen, may not happen. It will happen, and it's happened before. The Khalsa had Raj over Punjab under Banda Singh Bahadur. And this is a man who met Guru Gobind Singh Ji for a few days. He only spent a few days with Guru Gobind Singh Ji, maybe a few weeks, maximum of a few months. And yet look what he achieved with the Guru's blessings. Now, to be victorious, you've got to have faith. You've got to have belief in what you can do. Now, if the Guru tells us to start our day off with victory, to finish our day with victory, the Guru tells us that if we read Gurbani, he has his hand above our heads. The Guru tells us that if we read Gurbani, that we have no pain, that we need not fear anything, we don't need to be afraid of anything. If we have the faith in Gurbani, if we believe the Guru's words, then we become men and women like this. जिथे महाराज दसदे आ कि बाणी जपन वाले नूं नाम जपन वाले नूं कोई दुख नहीं लगदा बाणी जपन वाला निर्वैर हो जांदा निरभव हो जांदा जेड़ा बाणी जपोगा जेड़ा बाणी मुड़ूगा वही एक बंदा बनूगा जो कन्ना च पैगी फिर भी फल लिया ते जो उहदे अमल करिए गुरबाणी ते रहिए गुरबाणी गाइए सुनिए मन विच रखिए तां अमल ज़्यादा पऊगा ते जेड़े उस मौके दे सिखां ने उन्हें बाणी पूरा भरोसा सी कोई शक नहीं सी बाणी च गुरु है या नहीं है गुरु सच है या नहीं सच खालसा राज होगा या ना होगा पूर्ण यकीन सी पूर्ण विश्वास सी पूर्ण भरोसा सी. And I want to talk to you about commitment, because to walk in the Guru's path is hard. It's not easy to walk in the Guru's path. You be committed. Hopefully we all know what the word commitment means. It means if you might set your mind out to do something, I'm going to do this. No matter what happens, you do it. So even if you feel poorly that day, you still do it. Feel a bit sick, you still do it. It's raining outside, you still go. It's really windy, you still go. Now these are easy examples. The commitment is no matter what happens, you're going to do it. Now, I'm going to tell you guys a little story about Banda Singh Bahadur, how he was shaheed. Because we're talking about commitment, we're talking about victory, we're talking about fateh. When Banda Singh Bahadur was finally captured by the Mughals, he was in a fortress, like a little castle. And this fortress is surrounded, and the Sikhs of Banda Singh Bahadur, there were 700 of them, in the end. Over 8 or 9 months they were in this fortress and they were being attacked, and every day they were fighting back. And they ran out of food, so then they ate the leaves off the trees. They ate the grass off the ground. They even took the bark off the trees to eat. They had no food left. And in the end they were like 700 skeletons. You know, you get people who are really, really skinny. Their bones are sticking out, you can see the ribs. And if you don't eat for a long, long time, you lose strength in your body. And after eventually the Sikhs saw them, they never gave up. They never gave up, but eventually they couldn't even pick up a sword because they were so weak. But they never gave up. Eventually, the Mughals conquered this fortress and they captured the Sikhs and they took them to Delhi. And what they did is they put them on camels. And the people in Delhi, when they saw the Sikhs, they started spitting at them, shouting at them, swearing at the Sikhs. कि जो सिखा होते आखिरी समय जो 700 सिखा नूं गिरफ्तार करके दिल्ली विच लेके जांदे सी दिल्ली दे रहण वाले सिखा ते सिखा नूं गाला कढदे सी सिखा थकदे सी कि हाय तुहाडा राज रह गया तुसीं कई तस्वीरों च देखे होगा कि कईयां ने नेजिया ते बिल्लियां टंगियां बिल्लियां जैसे देखे कि बिल्लियां क्यों टंगियां सी नेजिया ते हुण मैं कहण दा मतलब सी कि सी पंजाब सिखा तो खाली करता सिखा तो की खाली कीता उत्थे बिल्ली भी नहीं सी छड्डी सिख का इन्ना असी मारा हाल किया कि सिख तो क्यों किहड़े जींदे छड्डे असी बिल्ली भी नहीं जींदी छड्डी. So they were laughing at these Sikhs, 700 of them, took them into Delhi, and they made a big court So everyone came in Delhi to this big court, and the king was sitting there, the king of the Mughal Empire was sitting there. And every day they said to the Sikhs, you have a choice now. You either choose death, you either die, or you become Muslims. You give up your Sikhi, you cut your case, you cut your dariyan, you take off your karpana, and you give up on Guru Gobind Singh Ji. You say the Guru is no longer my Guru, and you accept Muhammad and you become Muslim. Or you die. Now, can anybody guess what the Sikhs said? Auntie?
Die.
They said we'd rather die. We're talking about commitment to a cause. The Guru set them off to destroy Mughal tyranny. The Guru set them off to get victory over Sirhind and Punjab, because these Mughals were persecuting innocent people. They were torturing and killing innocent people. So their cause, their commitment was to this, was to victory and justice. So when they were given the choice of, you either give up your faith, give up your commitment, or you accept death, they chose death. And what they did was, 700 Sikhs over a week, every day 100 of them were put in a line. And you might have seen paintings of this. 100 of them were lined up, and every day 100 of them were executed. 7 ਦਿਨਾਂ ਵਿੱਚ ਰੋਜ਼ 100 ਸਿੱਖ ਦਾ ਸ਼ਹੀਦ ਸਿਰ ਲਾ ਕੇ ਸ਼ਹੀਦ ਕਰਾ ਗਿਆ ਉੱਥੇ ਦਿੱਲੀ 'ਚ. Every day 100. And ਜਿਹੜੇ ਉੱਥੇ ਦੇ ਯੂਰੋਪੀਅਨ ਸੀ ਉਸ ਮੌਕੇ, ਸਪੇਨ ਦੇ ਮੇਰੇ ਖਿਆਲ ਟਰੈਵਲਰ ਸੀਗੇ, Spanish people who at the time, ਜਿਹੜੇ ਵਿਟਨੈਸ ਸੀ, ਜਿਹੜੇ ਗਵਾਹ ਸੀ, ਉਹ ਇਤਿਹਾਸ ਵਿੱਚ ਦੱਸਦੇ ਆ ਕਿ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਸਿੱਖ ਸੀ ਉਹ ਇੱਕ ਦੂਜੇ ਨੂੰ ਕੂਣੀਆਂ ਮਾਰ ਕੇ ਇੱਕ ਦੂਜੇ ਦੇ ਅੱਗੇ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਸੀ. ਕਿਸ ਨੇ ਇੱਕ ਦੇ ਮੋਢੇ 'ਤੇ ਹੱਥ ਲਾਉਣਾ, ਉਹਨੇ ਮੂੰਹ ਇੱਧਰ ਨੂੰ ਕਰਨਾ, ਉਹਦੇ ਮੋਢੇ ਲੰਘ ਜਾਣਾ ਕਿ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਸ਼ਹੀਦ ਕਰੋ, ਸ਼ਹੀਦੀ ਦਾ ਜਸ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਛਕਾਓ. ਹੱਸਦੇ ਸੀ, ਗੁਰਬਾਣੀ ਗਾਉਂਦੇ ਸੀ, ਸ਼ਬਦ ਗਾਉਂਦੇ ਸੀ. The Sikhs weren't afraid that they were going to die. They were laughing. They were saying to the executioner, kill me first. I'd rather die first. Don't kill him. What's the point of killing him? Look how skinny he is. Chop my neck off. My neck's bigger. Kill me first. They were singing shabds, doing jagare, saying fateh. And every day, 100 of them become shaheed. And in the end, when it came to Banda Singh Bahadur's turn, they gave him the same choice. And Banda Singh Bahadur, they actually put his 1-year-old baby in his laps. A 1-year-old child, they took a knife and they cut out the heart of the baby. And then they put the heart in Banda Singh Bahadur's mouth. ਕਿ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਬੰਦਾ ਸਿੰਘ ਬਹਾਦਰ ਦਾ 1 ਸਾਲ ਦਾ ਬੱਚਾ ਸੀ, ਉਸ ਦੇ ਬੱਚੇ ਨੂੰ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਪੱਟ ਵਿੱਚ ਬਿਠਾ ਕੇ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਗੋਦ ਵਿੱਚ ਬਿਠਾ ਕੇ, ਬੱਚੇ ਦਾ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਦਿਲ ਕੱਢ ਕੇ ਬੰਦਾ ਸਿੰਘ ਬਹਾਦਰ 'ਚ ਮੂੰਹ 'ਚ ਪਾਇਆ ਗਿਆ ਕਿ ਤੂੰ ਸਿੱਖੀ ਛੱਡ ਦੇ, ਇਸਲਾਮ ਕਬੂਲ ਕਰ ਲਾ, ਇਸਲਾਮ ਧਾਰ ਲਾ. ਬੰਦਾ ਸਿੰਘ ਬਹਾਦਰ ਨੇ ਫਿਰ ਵੀ ਕਿ ਨਹੀਂ, ਮੈਂ ਗੁਰੂ ਦਾ ਸਿੱਖ ਹੈ, ਗੁਰੂ ਦਾ ਬੰਦਾ ਹਾਂ. He said no. After that, they took out one of Banda Singh Bahadur's eyes with hot metal, because they don't ever poke themselves in the eye. It hurts, huh? If you do got some sticks in the eye, it quite hurts, and the eye goes all red. They took a hot piece of metal, so it goes red hot. They put it in Banda Singh Bahadur's eye, so they burnt his eye out. Chopped off one of his hands, chopped off one of his feet. They then got pliers, pliers that you pull out nails with. They got pliers again, burnt them red hot, and they took off his skin. Banda Singh Bahadur, after all these tortures, still refused to give up his Sikhi. In the end, they had to cut his head off. This is the commitment of Banda Singh Bahadur. This is the man, and these are the Sikhs that you remember today. So when you have this Fateh Khirda, when you celebrate Fateh Divas, these are the people you remember. It's in their name that you have these celebrations. It's in their name that you play Gadka today. Look at this amazing history that we have. Not just the children, but as elders as well. Look at the great history we have of people who are so committed to justice, of people who are so committed to freedom that no matter what happens, they didn't give up. Even if it meant death. Now why choose death? They chose death because they know the cause wasn't finished then. They knew the movement for freedom wasn't done with them and their lives. This battle for freedom runs today. We're still fighting for freedom today. There are still places in the world today where there are people like the Mughals who are persecuting innocent people. And we Sikhs need inspiration from people like Banda Singh Bahadur to carry on the fight today for justice. We can't give up. It isn't over. Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj created Sant Sapai, sent soldiers, not just for 300 years ago, or for 200 years ago, or for 100 years ago, or for even 29 years ago in 1984. Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj created sent soldiers forever. Because there's always going to be people around the world who want to hurt poor people. Always going to be people who want to hurt innocent people. And whose job is it to defend them? Whose job do you think Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj said it was to go to help these people? Name starts with a K. Does anybody know what Guru Gobind Singh Ji created?
Khalsa.
Khalsa. Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj created the Khalsa but the calls had to go out and help these people. Now I just want to finish very quickly with what today is about. So we talked about Fateh victory, talk about the Fateh Khaidan, talk about the 1st of June now. So 1st of June 29 years ago. We've heard about how Banda Singh Bahadur was very brave a long, long time ago, 300 odd years ago. 29 years ago, we all know Sri Harmandir Sahib, Amritsar, was attacked by the Indian government and the Indian army. Now you know what I talked about? How can a small group of people take on a massive kingdom? We saw the same thing 29 years ago. कुछ गिनती दे सिंघां ने सरकार मोरे छातियां हिप के खड़े हो गए, चूड़ियां करके कि तेरे को टैंक या लियाओ टैंक, तेरे को जहाज या लियाओ या जहाज, बड़ी बड़ी गन्ना लियाओ गन्ना, आर्टिलरी या ग्रेनेड या केमिकल वेपनरी या लियाओ, असी गुरु दे ला लिया, असी गुरु गोबिंद सिंह दे पुत्र हैं, असी 1.25 लाख नाल लड़न वाले हैं, जो का शगल लेके आओ, कोई डर नहीं सी, कोई फिक्र नहीं सी, शक नहीं सी कि फतेह खालसे दी होगी, कोई शक नहीं सी, क्योंकि जिहड़े शक्की सी वो भजन वाले होंदे हैं, जिन्होंने पता कि मैं फतेह करनी है, जिन्होंने पता कि मेरी मौत विच भी फतेह है, वो खड़ के लड़न वाले होंदे हैं. That day on the 1st of June, there were maybe 200 or 300 Sikhs who were ready to fight and defend Harmandir Sahib. On the 1st of June, there were families like we've got families who came to Matta Teka Harmandir Sahib. Have you guys all been to Amritsar? It's beautiful, isn't it? It's really peaceful. On the 1st of June, it wasn't like that. On the 1st of June, what the army did was they closed off the train station. Some of you might have got the train to Amritsar, to Harmandir Sahib. The train station was actually closed. Why? Because they wanted to make sure there's as many people in Harmandir Sahib as possible. So if you come to Matta Teka Harmandir Sahib, people didn't have cars back then as many as they have now, so you might get the train or the bus. If you want to take a Harmandir Sahib and you're trying to go home and you can't get the bus home, you can't get the train home, you go back to Harmandir Sahib. Why were so many people at Harmandir Sahib? Because it's Guru Arjan Dev Ji Shahidi Diyara. It's the 5th Guru Shahidi Diyara. So it's very, very busy because Guru Arjan Dev Ji Maharaj finished off building Harmandir Sahib. So what the government did was to get as many people in Harmandir Sahib as possible. As many people as possible, and then they attacked. And on the 1st of June, 11 Sikhs were shaheed. Bhai Menga Singh Ji, Babbar being the first. Bhai Menga Singh Ji was shot by a sniper. So he wasn't shot accidentally, he was shot by a sniper in his head. There's also an 11-year-old child that was shaheed on the 1st of June by a sniper. And a sniper is one of the best marksmen in the army. So you know people are in the army, they're trying to match your guns, you know? If you're good, you go into another test. If you're very good, you go into another test. The best marksmen, the absolute best target people become snipers. So on the 1st of June, this sniper hit an 11-year-old. So let's ask ourselves, why are snipers, Indian snipers, shooting 11-year-old children on the parikrama of Darbar Sahib? But the 1st of June is when the attack on Sri Harmandir Sahib started. If you've been to Harmandir Sahib today, it didn't look like this back then. On the 1st of June, there were tanks ready around the outside. There were 70,000 Indian army soldiers ready to invade Harmandir Sahib. There were helicopter gunships ready to invade Harmandir Sahib. So today was the first day that happened. So I'm not going to go into the history, because the history we'll learn about hopefully over the next week about what happened. But we're talking about Fateh, we're talking about victory. So people there could have run away. People could have saved their lives. They could have said, we're going to lose, we're going to die here, but they didn't. They were victorious. And if you look at why the Indian army wanted to attack Harmandir Sahib, why they went in to attack Sri Darbar Sahib, it wasn't because they wanted Sant Jarnail Singh Ji. If the Indian army wanted to kill Sant Jarnail Singh Ji, that sniper that killed Bhai Menga Singh Ji Babbar by shooting him in the head, that sniper that killed 11 young innocent Sikhs on the Parikrama could have shot Sant Jarnail Singh Ji as well. Sant Jarnail Singh Ji was at Akal Takht Sahib. The Indian army attacked 40 of the Godre around Punjab. There wasn't 40 Sant Jarnail Singhs. There was nothing to do with Sant Jarnail Singh. The Indian army went in because they wanted to teach the Sikhs a lesson that we can come into your Darbar Sahib, do whatever we like, we can kill and torture your people, you can't do nothing back to us. Wazir Khan used to think the same. Remember I told you Wazir can't kill the Chote Sahibzade because he thought, I can kill innocent children, nothing's going to happen to me. Or Banda Singh Bahadur went to Wazir Khan and chopped his head off. Indira Gandhi attacked Sri Harmandir Sahib thinking, I can teach these Sikhs a lesson because I'm a powerful leader. Nothing can happen to me. She fought wrong as well. Because Satwan Singh or Byan Singh went and dealt with her later on in the year. Because we have this victory in our minds. We are always victorious because we belong to the Guru. If we are Khalsa, the Khalsa is always victorious and the Khalsa belongs to Vaheguru. Vaheguru can never lose. God can never lose. God is always victorious. We belong to Him. Our victory is assured. So today, remember Fateh Divas, Banda Singh Bahadur doing Fateh over Sarhand, but also remember the 1st of June. Not only because the Indian army attacked them, this is the first day they attacked, but because again, this is an example of our victory. It's an example of our Fateh. कि गुरु ने ऐसे सिख बनाए, गुरु ने इधर दे सिख बनाए जिन्हें पूरी सरकार की फौज भी देख के डरे नहीं. जिन्हें फौजी हरमंदिर साहब ते भेजे गए सी, उन्हें फौजी पाकिस्तान की जंग विच नहीं वरते गए. उत्थे बराबर की फौज सी, बराबर की तोपा सी, बराबर के प्लेन सी, बराबर के टैंक सी. उन्हें फौजी उत्थे नहीं भेजे गए. पर जो 200 ਸਿੰਘਾਂ ਦਾ ਮੱਥਾ ਲਾਉਣਾ ਸੀ, 70-80 हज़ार फौजी हरमंदिर साहब ने भेजे गए. ਆ ਵੀ ਸਿੰਘਾਂ ਦੀ ਫਤਿਹ ਆ, ਆ ਵੀ ਸਿੱਖਾਂ ਦੀ ਫਤਿਹ ਆ ਕਿ ਸਾਡੇ ਦੁਸ਼ਮਣਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਵੀ ਪਤਾ ਕਿ 100-200 ਬੰਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਕੰਮ ਨਹੀਂ ਬਣਨਾ. 7-8 ਟੈਂਕ ਭੇਜੋ, ਤੋਪਾਂ ਭੇਜੋ, ਵੱਧ ਤੋਂ ਵੱਧ ਵਧੀਆ ਤੋਂ ਵਧੀਆ ਟ੍ਰੇਨਿੰਗ ਜਿਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਮਿਲੀ ਹੋਈ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਭੇਜੋ, ਕੈਮੀਕਲ ਗੈਸ ਵਾਲੀ ਤੋਪਾਂ ਭੇਜੋ. ਸਿੱਖਾਂ ਦੀ ਕਮਾਲ ਦੇਖੋ, ਕਿਤੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਮਾਸਕ ਜੋ ਗੈਸ ਵਾਲਾ ਮਾਸਕ ਪਾ ਲੈਂਦੇ ਫੌਜੀ ਕਿ ਅੱਖਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਜੇ ਸਾਹ ਨੂੰ ਕੁਛ ਨਾ ਚੜੇ. ਸਿੰਘਾਂ ਦਾ ਕੀ ਹਾਲ ਸੀ, ਗੰਢੇ ਚੀਰ ਕੇ ਗਲ 'ਚ ਗੰਢੇ ਪਾ ਲੈਣੇ ਕਿ ਸਾਡੇ ਅੱਖਾਂ 'ਚ ਪਾਣੀ ਆਈ ਜਾਊਗਾ ਕਿ ਗੈਸ ਸਾਡੇ ਅੱਖਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਨਾ ਪਵੇ. ਆਹ ਸੇਵਾ ਕੌਣ ਕਰਦੀ ਸੀ? ਬੀਬੀਆਂ. ਜਿੱਥੇ ਸਿੰਘ ਵੀਰ ਜੰਗ ਕਰਦੇ ਸੀ ਅਕਾਲ ਤਖਤ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਦੇ ਤਾਕੇ ਵਿੱਚੋਂ ਸਾਡੀਆਂ ਭੈਣਾਂ ਗੰਢੇ ਚੀਰ ਕੇ ਹਾਰ ਬਣਾ ਕੇ ਸਿੰਘਾਂ ਦੇ ਗਲਾਂ 'ਚ ਪਾਉਂਦੇ ਸੀ ਕਿ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਅੱਖਾਂ 'ਚ ਮਿੱਟੀ ਘਟਾ ਨਾ ਪਵੇ, ਅੱਖਾਂ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਸਾਫ਼ ਰਹਿਣ ਪਾਣੀ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ. ਸਾਡੀਆਂ ਭੈਣਾਂ ਸਿਗਨਲ ਮੈਸੇਜ ਭੇਜਦੀਆਂ ਸੀਗੀਆਂ ਕਿ ਇੱਧਰ ਫੌਜ ਆ ਗਈ, ਇੱਧਰ ਫੌਜ ਆ ਗਈ. ਸਿੰਘ ਮੀਂਹ ਦੇ ਗੋਲੀ ਦੇ ਮੀਂਹ ਵਿੱਚ ਇੱਕ ਦੂਜੇ ਨੂੰ ਮੈਸੇਜਾਂ ਭੇਜਦੇ ਰਹੇ, ਅਸਲਾ ਇੱਥੇ ਮਾਪੇ ਉੱਥੇ ਅਸਲਾ ਭੇਜੋ, ਜੰਗ ਸ਼ਹੀਦ ਕਈ ਹੋ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਸੀ. ਅਸਲ ਸਿੱਖਾਂ ਦੀ ਕਮਾਲ ਦੀ ਗੱਲ ਆ. ਭਾਈ ਮੋਹਰ ਸਿੰਘ ਦੀ ਇੱਕ ਮੈਂ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਮਾੜੀ ਜਿਹੀ ਕਹਾਣੀ ਦੱਸ ਦੇਵਾਂ. ਭਾਈ ਮੋਹਰ ਸਿੰਘ ਜੀ ਹਿੰਦੂ ਜਨਮ ਸੀ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ. ਅੰਮ੍ਰਿਤ ਛਕ ਕੇ ਸਿੰਘ ਸਿੰਘਣੀ 2 ਬੱਚੀਆਂ, ਸਤਨਾਮ ਕੌਰ, ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਕੌਰ, ਸਾਡੇ ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਦੀ ਉਮਰ ਆਉਂਦੀ ਆ. ਜੋ ਹਰ ਨਾਲੇ ਹਿੰਦੂ ਜਨਮ ਸੀ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ. ਭਾਈ ਮੋਹਰ ਸਿੰਘ ਦੇ ਸਾਰੇ ਪਰਿਵਾਰ ਨੇ ਜਦੋਂ ਟੈਂਕ ਦੇਖੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਹਰਮੰਦਰ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਦੀ ਪਰਿਕਰਮਾ ਚੋਂਦੇ ਹੋਏ, ਭਾਈ ਮੋਹਰ ਸਿੰਘ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਪਰਿਵਾਰ ਨੇ ਗ੍ਰਨੇਡ ਚੱਕੇ, ਗ੍ਰਨੇਡ. ਸਿੰਘ ਸਿੰਘਣੀ ਨੇ ਨਾਲੇ ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਨੇ ਪਹਿਲਾ ਟੈਂਕ ਜਦੋਂ ਹਰਮੰਦਰ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਤੇ ਚਾਰੇ ਜੀਆਂ ਨੇ ਗ੍ਰਨੇਡ ਖਿੱਚ ਕੇ ਟੈਂਕ ਦੇ ਛਾਲਾਂ ਮਾਰੀਆਂ, ਆਪਣਾ ਆਪ ਕੁਰਬਾਨ ਕਰਤਾ. ਆ ਸਿੱਖਾਂ ਦੀ ਫਤਿਹ ਆ. ਦੁਨੀਆ ਡਰਦੀ ਮੌਤ ਤੋਂ, ਸਿੰਘ ਭੱਜਦੇ ਆ ਮੌਤ ਵਾਲਾ. ਫਤਿਹ ਸਿੱਖਾਂ ਦੀ ਆ. ਲੋਕੀ ਡਰਦੇ ਆ ਸਰਕਾਰ ਤੋਂ, ਪੁਲਿਸ ਤੋਂ, ਜ਼ੁਲਮ ਤੋਂ. ਸਿੱਖ ਸੋਚਦਾ ਕਿ ਮੌਕਾ ਕਦ ਆਵੇ ਕਿ ਮੈਂ ਇਸ ਜ਼ੁਲਮ ਨਾਲ ਮੱਥਾ ਲਾਵਾਂ. ਆ ਸਿੱਖਾਂ ਦੀ ਫਤਿਹ ਆ. ਤਾਂ ਫਿਰ ਜਿਹਾ ਫਤਿਹ ਦਿਵਸ ਅੱਜ ਅਸੀਂ ਚੇਤਾ ਗੱਤਕਾ ਖੇਡ ਕੇ ਚੇਤਾ ਕੀਤਾ, ਚਿੱਤ ਰੱਖ ਕੇ ਫਤਿਹ. ਸਵੇਰ ਨੂੰ ਵੀ ਸਾਡੇ ਜਾਗਦੇ ਹੋਏ ਫਤਿਹ, ਸੌਂਦੇ ਹੋਏ ਫਤਿਹ, ਸਿੱਖ ਨੂੰ ਇੱਕ ਦੂਜੇ ਮਿਲਦੇ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਹੋਏ ਫਤਿਹ. ਸਿੱਖ ਨੂੰ ਹੈਗਾ ਹੀ ਫਤਿਹ ਲਈ ਖਾਲਸੇ ਫਤਿਹ ਕਰੇਗਾ, ਖਾਲਸੇ ਫਤਿਹ 'ਚ ਰਹਿੰਦਾ. ਤੇ ਫਤਿਹ ਹਰੇਕ ਵੇਲੇ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਦੀ, ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਦੀ ਹੈ. ਕਦੇ ਢਿੱਲੀ ਕਦਮ ਵਿੱਚ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਹੋਣਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ. ਜੋ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਰਾਜ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਨੇ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਦੱਸਿਆ ਕਿ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਰਾਜ ਹੋਊਗਾ ਜ਼ਰੂਰ. ਮੌਕਾ ਸਮਾਂ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ. ਖਾਲਸਾ ਰਾਜ ਅਸੀਂ ਬੰਦਾ ਸਿੰਘ ਬਹਾਦਰ ਦੇ ਰਾਜ ਵਿੱਚ ਦੇਖਿਆ, ਮਹਾਰਾਜਾ ਰਣਜੀਤ ਸਿੰਘ ਦੇ ਰਾਜ ਵਿੱਚ ਦੇਖਿਆ, ਲਈ ਅਸੀਂ ਸੱਚਮੁੱਚ ਖਾਲਕੂ ਸਿੰਘਾਂ ਦੇ ਰਾਜ ਵਿੱਚ ਵੀ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਰਾਜ ਦੇ ਕੁਛ ਨਿਸ਼ਾਨੀਆਂ ਦੇਖੀਆਂ. ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਕਿਰਪਾ ਕਰਨ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਰਾਜ ਆਊਗਾ. ਲੈ ਇੱਕ ਹੋਰ ਚੀਜ਼ ਮੈਂ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਦੀ ਕਹਿਣਾ, ਅਸੀਂ ਪਿਛਲੇ 2-3 ਸਾਲਾਂ 'ਚ ਕਈ ਅਸੀਂ ਰੈਵੋਲੂਸ਼ਨ ਦੇਖੀਆਂ ਆ. ਸੀਰੀਆ ਵਿੱਚ, ਮੋਰੋਕੋ ਦੇ, ਟਿਊਨੀਜ਼ੀਆ ਵਿੱਚ, ਇਸ ਲੀਬੀਆ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ. ਤੁਸੀਂ ਦੇਖਿਆ ਹੋ ਕਿ ਨਿਊਜ਼ 'ਤੇ ਕਈ ਮੁਸਲਮਾਨ ਦੇ ਇਲਾਕਿਆਂ 'ਚ ਨਾ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਸਰਕਾਰਾਂ ਸੀਗੀਆਂ ਉਹ ਉਲਟ ਗਈਆਂ, ਨਵੀਂ ਸਰਕਾਰਾਂ ਪੈਦਾ ਕੀਤੀਆਂ ਗਈਆਂ. ਇੱਕ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਜੀ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਗੱਲ ਮੈਂ ਦੱਸਣਾ ਚਾਹੁੰਦਾ ਕਿ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਉਹ ਪੁਰਾਣੀ ਸਰਕਾਰਾਂ ਸੀ ਉਹ ਰੱਬ ਨੂੰ ਮੰਨਣ ਵਾਲੀਆਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਸੀ, ਸੈਕੂਲਰ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਆ. ਲੈ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਜਨਤਾ ਸੀ ਉਹ ਅੱਕ ਕੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਢਾਹ ਗਈ. ਪਰ ਜੇ ਦੇਖਿਆ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਪੁਰਾਣੇ ਲੋਕ ਸੀ ਬਦਲ ਗਏ, ਲੀਡਰ ਬਦਲ ਗਏ, ਹਾਲਾਤ ਉਹੀ ਆ. ਅਸੀਂ ਈਜਿਪਟ ਵੱਲ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਜੀ ਨਿਗਾਹ ਮਾਰੋ, ਈਜਿਪਟ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਸਰਕਾਰ ਲਾਈ ਸੀ ਦੂਜੀ ਹਾਂ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਉਸ ਥਾਂ ਆਈ ਆ ਕੰਮ ਉਹੀ ਕਰਦੀ ਆ। ਜਿਹੜੀ ਜਨਤਾ ਨੇ ਉਸ ਮੌਕੇ ਰੌਲਾ ਪਾਇਆ ਸੀ, ਕੁੱਟ ਖਾਧੀ ਸੀ, ਉਹਦੇ ਬੰਦੇ ਮੜੇ ਗਏ ਸੀ, ਹੁਣ ਵੀ ਅੱਜ ਵੀ ਉਹ ਬੰਦੇ ਅੱਜ ਵੀ ਮਰਦੇ ਆ। ਇਸੇ ਇੱਕ ਪਾਪੀ ਨੂੰ ਲਾ ਕੇ ਦੂਜਾ ਪਾਪੀ ਫੇਰ ਖੜਾ ਕਰਤਾ। ਉਹ ਜਦੋਂ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਦਾ ਰਾਜ ਹੋਣਾ ਕੰਮ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੋਣਾ। ਜਦੋਂ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਦਾ ਰਾਜ ਹੋਗਾ, ਜਿਹੜੇ ਰਾਜ ਕਰਨਗੇ ਸੱਚ ਸੁੱਚੇ ਗੁਰੂ ਗੋਬਿੰਦ ਸਿੰਘ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਦੇ ਬਚਨਾਂ ਗੁਰਬਾਣੀ ਦੇ ਮੰਨਣ ਵਾਲੇ ਹੋਣਗੇ ਤੇ ਗੁਰੂ ਗੋਬਿੰਦ ਸਿੰਘ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਦੇ ਰਾਜ ਤੁਰਨ ਵਾਲੇ ਹੋਣਗੇ। ਆਹ ਦਿਨ ਨਾ ਆਵੇ ਕਿ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਰਾਜ ਆਵੇ ਲੈ ਜਨਤਾ ਫੇਰ ਵੀ ਕਹੇ ਕਿ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਉਹੀ ਬੰਦੇ ਦੇਖ ਰਹੇ ਹੋਵੇ। ਸਾਨੂੰ ਯਕੀਨ ਰੱਖਣਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਦੇ ਬਚਨਾਂ 'ਚ, ਗੁਰੂ ਗੋਬਿੰਦ ਸਿੰਘ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਦੇ ਗੁਰਬਾਣੀ ਵਿੱਚ। ਖਾਲਸਾ ਰਾਜ ਜ਼ਰੂਰ ਆਊਗਾ, ਸਮਾਂ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਜਾਣਦੇ ਆ। ਸਾਡਾ ਕੰਮ ਆਹੀ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਬਾਣੀ ਪੜ੍ਹੀਏ, ਬਾਣੀ ਸੁਣੀਏ, ਬਾਣੀ ਦਾ ਅਮਲ ਕਰੀਏ ਤੇ ਹਰੇਕ ਵੇਲੇ ਮਨ ਵਿੱਚ ਫਤਿਹ ਤੇ ਚੜ੍ਹਦੀ ਕਲਾ ਦਾ ਪ੍ਰਤੀਕ ਰੱਖੀਏ। बोल रहे अनेक प्रकार के गलती हो गया, आप जिन्हें अनजान बचे समझ माफ करना ना। Please forgive me for any mistakes. Keep victory in mind. Always be high spirits. Be चढ़ती कला. Be confident. Be positive. With the kids of Guru Gobind Singh Maharaj, you can achieve anything. Thank you for listening. वाहिगुरु जी का खालसा, वाहिगुरु जी की फतेह।